Hey, this is Stacy and Megan.
With another What We're Cooking and Eating Now mini episode. In case you missed it, we're going to be sharing 2 short episodes every month in addition to our regular weekly episodes, where we give you a real-time rundown of what we're cooking for our families.
In each of these episodes, we'll talk you all the way through one recipe and then list 5 others. All in, you get 6 easy weeknight dinners that we've tested.
You can use our ideas as inspiration or literally turn them into your meal plan for next week. We'll be sharing the links for all the recipes mentioned in our free community, which you can join by going to didn'tijustfeedyou.com/community. All you have to do is enter your email, which we keep private, and look out for our post with all the What We're Cooking and Eating Now details.
All right, Megan, it's a really good thing that you're leading this week because as people can probably hear from my voice, I have been under the weather.
Oh.
But I actually cooked a bunch right before I got sick. So I do have stuff to contribute, which is great.
Yay.
But you go first this week.
I know. I wondered if it would be like, and I opened a can of chicken noodle soup, which I appreciate. Like we promised to keep it real, right?
We did. I will tell you that also I got sick and, I'm about to also leave for vacation.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm COVID negative. So plans are intact and I'm recovering. But I had purchased all of this food to cook for the week. And this morning, for the first time in a few days, I went downstairs and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much food. But the boys have just been ordering in for the last few days because I've been sick.
Yeah.
And Mike's even been ordering lunch so that I could have soup and stuff. So food bank, I guess. But I was able to cook at the beginning of the week.
Good. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear. I'm going to take the reins here so that you don't have to waste your voice. You'll share your 3 quickly and efficiently at the end here. Okay. I want to talk about, even though I know that we've talked about it before, I think we talked about it in the episode about trends from 2021, this like viral pink pasta, and which is basically like a
you love
pan
this pasta.
Sauce. Yes, a pan sauce for pasta that requires like pantry staples. It's really easy and really delicious. And when we talked about it, I sent you Dan Pelosi's vodka sauce recipe. I was like, I haven't tried this yet, but people are fanatical about it. And so you and Isaac cooked it. And this week we did like a quick and easy pasta night where my kids just get buttered noodles with lots of Parmesan on top. And we do like steamed broccoli on the side. And I do sometimes crave plain pasta for myself.
Hell yes. Totally.
Yes.
Or sometimes you like make something different for yourself or order something different for yourself at a restaurant. And then you see what they got and you're like, oh, I want that.
Actually, I did just want chicken fingers. But we do pasta like at least once a week, especially if Brian's out of town. And so I have found myself recently being like, I can't eat any more just plain buttered pasta. And I love this vodka sauce for that because it's just like tomato paste, garlic, a little bit of heavy cream, and vodka if you want to add it. If you don't, you could totally use chicken or veggie broth instead. And I just think this is like genius for parents in the thick of feeding picky eaters, because you can have something that's like truly delicious and satisfying on your plate, which is the pasta with the vodka sauce, and your kids can eat plain buttered noodles and everyone's happy.
But it might be because I'm slow and sick. Are we talking about the TikTok sauce or the Dan Pelosi vodka sauce?
The Dan Pelosi vodka sauce.
Okay. Isn't it so good?
It's so good.
The slickness of it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't understand how, because the pink pasta sauce, which we talked about in a previous episode, is also like minimal ingredients, minimal steps. You cook it very quickly and simply. But there's something about the amounts and the little bit of vodka. It's like, 6 tablespoons if you make a whole batch in the vodka sauce that makes it like 100% better, like 10 times the flavor.
Yes. I also think that he puts a very, if I'm remembering correctly, a pretty large amount of the pasta cooking water, and you cook it
Yes.
longer,
Yes.
right?
Is that
So
the
it's very
secret?
hands off. It's
Yes.
very hands off, but you do cook it longer. It isn't like an instant pasta dinner, in all fairness, to
Right.
be transparent. It cooks down, but that cooking down with the pasta cooking water, where instead of adding it just at the end to help you with the cling, it actually it affects the texture of the sauce in the most glorious way.
Yeah, it's like you're putting cornstarch, like not cornstarch, but you're putting starch,
Yeah.
pasta starch in the sauce. So you really are thickening it and it clings in such a beautiful way.
And did your kids try it though? Because to
No,
me, oh, that's funny because I would consider that a kid-friendly sauce.
I would too, but my kids are currently anti-sauce
Okay.
unless it's like a meat sauce.
Yeah.
Then they'll get down with that.
Yeah.
And even then they want like mostly meat and just a little bit of the
Got it.
sauce if
Got it.
they
Got
can
it.
get it.
But I do think, of course, there's like a spectrum and there's seasons. Generally speaking, I think we would both qualify it as a like family-friendly sauce, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally. And then it makes me want to like get into the listeners group and hear from people like what are the things that they finish their pastas with, because I think like I want some more of those things in my back pocket, whether it's like Calabrian chilies and garlic or it's like jarred pesto. I think that having a couple things in our pantry or in our fridge would be really helpful to me because Brian's getting ready to head into busy season. Speaking of busy season recipes or things we eat a lot in busy season, I am back to loving like a frozen nugget turned into a chef salad.
Bag salad chicken nuggets.
Okay,
Bag salad chicken nuggets. I feel like that's your theme song.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
It,
Although
it is a delicious, easy meal.
yes. Okay, can I be like silly for a minute and tell you that Maggie Hoffman, who is like the digital editor for Epicurious now this week, DM'd me after I shared it and was like, "This is genius." And I had to really fight myself from being like, "Do you want me to write about it?" Because I feel like our chicken and waffle salad that we did for Better Homes and Gardens last August is very similar in a vibe. And when I do shortcut with chicken nuggets, I don't do a bag salad. I will like actually chop up all the bits and bobs for a chef salad. This week, I was really inspired to take those little tiny Yukon Gold potatoes and pop them in the oven with the chicken nuggets and then have that on my salad. And I don't know why. Why am I not putting more potatoes on salads, not just like strictly potato salads?
And don't you love a niçoise?
I love a niçoise.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that has potatoes, little potatoes too.
It does. And
Yes.
so I made the joke on Instagram and I didn't check for your reply because you're like the chicken lady. You would decide, is this a chicken niçoise if I add baby potatoes to my chicken nugget chopped salad? Stacey,
it is.
Is it?
Okay. Did you have green beans? Did you have olives? I guess like what makes a niçoise?
I do think green beans and olives kind of qualifies it. I mean, it wasn't even like a vinaigrette. It was like cheddar cheese, shredded carrots.
No, you're going into ranch territory.
Oh, and that's where I was.
You're going into ranch territory.
Where I was about to take us.
Take us there. I love it. Ranch Road.
Okay. Ranch Road. Okay, I want to give you time to share yours. So I'll just last little shout out, and this goes back to our community, is I have been craving that sort of like Buddha bowl experience, which we've had. One of my former colleagues at Kitchen wrote a great book about Buddha bowls and like their infinite combinations. But Caitlin in our community asked about air fryer tofu. And so tonight we're eating Buddha bowls and I'm going to try air frying the tofu and do like crispy tofu, peanut sauce. I may do grated carrots again, sliced cucumbers over this like farro and quinoa, like quick cooking farro and quinoa that I found at Whole Foods. So I will like maybe do a little postscript in the community when I share and tell Caitlin / our community how my air fryer tofu experiment went.
You know that I recently air fried tofu to make my favorite minimalist baker tofu with peanut sauce. It's like called like oven fried tofu peanut sauce. We'll put a link.
Yeah, we definitely linked to it before too.
Because I make this all the time and I did not like it.
Was it the air fryer? Like, what was it about air frying? Because that's what Caitlin said. She's like, I tried a recipe online for
Yeah.
air fryer tofu and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. It didn't get as crispy. And you toss the tofu with cornstarch when you do the recipe in the oven to get a
Hmm.
really nice crisp on it. And some spots were still like caked on and didn't
Oh,
crisp up
yeah.
enough. And then it was, so I had wondered, my follow up was going to be just air frying it without the cornstarch, because since it's an air fryer, I could achieve the fry texture without having to go through all the extra steps that you do for the oven to make it
Yeah.
seam fried. I just didn't like it. So I'm very curious too.
Okay, well, that's kind of a bummer because I told Caitlin, I was like, one of the things I always do to get crispy tofu
I'm
is
sorry,
toss
Stu, cornstarch.
is toss in cornstarch.
Sorry,
All
Megan
right,
and
well, maybe
Kaylin.
I'll try like half of my
Yes.
tofu with cornstarch and half
Will you
without
do
and see
that
how
for
it
us?
goes.
I
Oh,
would love
yeah, of
that.
course. You
Yeah.
know I will.
Do that
Yeah.
for us. I'd like to know.
Okay. Okay, so what did you prep for your
Okay.
family before you got sick?
So
and what are you eating now?
right before I got sick, I shared on Instagram. It was halibut with brothy white beans and basil. And I found the recipe on What's Gabi Cooking. And like I saw it, and honestly, it's a pretty simple recipe. So then I just made it myself. But I think that's a really good reference recipe. It's very, very simple. I mean, you're just browning a white fish, like a nice flaky white fish, nothing too thin, something thicker like cod or halibut. Um, and then like using canned white beans and, canned diced tomatoes to make a really flavorful, brothy deliciousness. It was great. The kids really liked it, although I'm going to admit that they both were like, this is really good. And then when dinner was over, I was like, Oliver, you barely ate your fish. He was like, I just don't feel like fish tonight, but it was good. And Isaac was like, I'll return to it. And I was like, because, everybody who's been listening for a while knows that like he eats with us and then he goes away and then he eats at like 10:30. And I
Yeah.
was like, at 10:30, you're going to eat fish? And he's like, yeah, probably not. But it was good. Thanks. So
Huh.
they said it was good, but then they didn't really eat it. So I really don't know what to say. So
Maybe
there you
they
go.
just were into the fish part of it, but like the broth and beans
Yeah.
and stuff was
They
good.
both said it was delicious. They weren't like, ew, no, I don't. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was great with garlic bread. I just bought store-bought garlic bread.
God, I love garlic bread so
I
much.
love garlic bread. Oliver was like, but why didn't you melt cheese on this garlic bread? I was like, that's a good question
That's
for
cheesy
every
bread,
time.
though.
I know, but
That is cheesy bread. That's not garlic bread.
that's the way he likes
Sometimes
it.
you need one and not the other.
Another fish recipe. I was trying to eat fish this week, I guess. Or this was actually at the end of last week.
Okay.
Food with Friends. Is that what it's called?
Food between friends?
Food between friends. Yes. With Julie B. I don't know how to say her last name. Thanuis.
And Tyler Ferguson?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about their pineapple steak tacos last week. And I had also made those because everyone was talking about it in our community. While I had the book out, I noticed that they had a blackened fish sandwich that looked really good. It just like really appealed to me. And I made it and it was really great. So just followed that recipe straight. I also air fried sweet potato fries, like store-bought from the freezer, and drizzled hot honey over them. And that was a great meal.
Yum.
Okay, so that was really good. And they did eat that fish. So I don't know.
Fish. So it wasn't the fish from the other dish.
I don't know. Weird.
Okay.
So weird. Okay. Third thing was an improvised. I was going to make pasta. I think I was going to make bacon onion pasta that I had seen in the New York Times. That sounds familiar, but I ended up, and then a kale salad on the side. And it ended up being a really crazy night where I was like, I don't have time to make two things, but I have this kale and I have this onion and I had some bacon that I wanted to use up. So I improvised a creamy bacon and kale pasta. That was delicious. And that was a huge win with the kids. So I just cooked the pasta. I sauteed the bacon. I added kale, onion and garlic powder because I was in a major rush. Like I didn't even chop fresh. And then I just added like cooking water, cream, and lemon zest and pasta and tossed it all together with Parmesan. And it was delish. That's going to go on my rotation.
Yes. Can we have like a formal, informal recipe at
Yeah,
some point when you're
yes,
feeling better, when you're back from
totally,
vacation,
totally.
maybe on your Instagram, or we can send it out in a newsletter
Yeah,
because
it was worth developing. Is
yeah.
that how your recipe starts sometimes where you just improvise something and you're
Yes.
like,
And then
"Oh,
you're
this
like,
is
oh,
good."
this was really good.
And then you have to go back and like recreate
Yeah.
it formally.
Every once in a while there's something where it's like the leftovers of this and like a little bit of this special thing, and it was so good, and you're like, I will never ever be able to have this again
Yes,
because it was
totally,
such like specific ingredients that
totally.
made it so good. Okay, that's a pretty good. I mean, you could have like shortcut meals, a couple pasta options, and a couple veggie based meals and fish. I love that you
Fish.
put fish
Yes.
on your list twice if you were going to use this episode to plan your meals next week.
And I do have to say real quick that if you buy one of those family packs of the frozen fish fillets, like halibut or cod,
Yes.
I know it may not be for everybody to have fish twice in a week, but if you plan like one of the fishes for like the weekend or a Friday night and the other one for like Wednesday or Thursday the next day, you use up that whole family pack.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those family packs linger in my freezer for a long time. I use them for one meal and I'm like, great, that was a good price. I put it in the freezer and then like I don't turn to it forever.
Yeah. And then like 6 months later, you're like,
Right.
what is this?
Yes.
Is this a piece of fish that's
Yes,
freezer
totally,
burned?
totally.
Okay, so we're avoiding that with two. I love it. That's a hot tip. Okay, this new bi-monthly series is thanks in part to the generous support of our Didn't I Just Feed You supporting membership. So a big shout out and thank you to them. You can find out more about becoming a supporting member at didn'tijustfeedyou.com/community. And hey, if it's not the right time for you, don't forget that you can get all the links to this week's What We're Cooking and Eating Now by joining the free section of our community.
A huge thank you also to our editor, Samantha Gatzik. Thank you for listening. Stay sane and well fed. Until next time.